Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of RJ's Game Builder Garage things, where I make things in Game Builder Garage and try and use Game Builder Garage to do things that it was not even designed to do. And today we're going to be taking the game that I've been working on with a good friend of mine for a while, Visualized, and we're going to bring that into Game Builder Garage. Now, if you have a PC and you want to play this game on your computer and provide feedback to us as a playtester, you can actually get your hands on a copy of this using the link in the description below. Again, check out the link in the description to get a copy of it. It works on PC, Mac, and Linux at this point. And yeah, let's get right into it. Now, the one thing about Visualized, if you're looking at it here, is that it's an infinite runner game, and it's 2D, and it's very 8-bit by design. It's pixelated, and stuff, and it's both perfect and not perfect for Game Builder Garage, because you could simply do this with Game Builder Garage's API and stuff. But Game Builder Garage was mostly engineered for simple 3D games, not anything 2D like this. I mean, you could get some in there, and I have featured some games made in 2D on this channel before. I have, in fact, it was some of the first showcase episodes where I actually featured 2D games on Game Builder Garage, and there's a lot of programming and stuff that goes behind them, and it's kind of easy and hard to do a lot of these things. And so yeah, so this is going to be a hell of a challenge, and yeah, it's also going to include some things that I have way down the road. Like there's a bit of a thing with an Arduino where you can make the Arduino emulate a mouse and draw textures for you. We might have to get into that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's a lot that has to go down in order for this to even be remotely feasible within the confines of GBG. So without further ado, let's get right into actually getting the game, getting at least the basic mechanics of the game built into Game Builder Garage, and we can worry about getting assets in later. And so let's get right into that. Alright, so here we are in good old Game Builder Garage, where we've got the blank canvas of nothingness. So the one thing that I think is going to be pretty obvious from just the design of things is by just having a game screen. I think that in and of itself is going to be pretty obvious here. Again, these infinite runner games are a bit weird and stuff in these kinds of things, and it's going to be probably very hard to kind of get it to be at least close to how the actual game really works. Now, the one thing that if you've actually dealt with Visualized is pretty common. It's the fact that the sky scrolls across the screen no matter what in a lot of cases, and that's kind of how we programmed it in back when we made this initially. And yeah, but that we're going to probably worry about later, because again, at this point we are just doing the basics. And one thing that is also pretty obvious here is we need to get it to have a system where it can move a box around. We're going to have boxes as the player, because if we went with a person node on, it would have to be hidden, and we wouldn't be able to get a 2D character on it because it would just look weird. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start off by using a lot of moving boxes. So in this case, we are going to do a few things to kind of get the basics down. And yeah, we're not going to move the game screens XY kind of because of the effect that we're trying to go for, where it's like where it goes across. Because one of the big problems that Game Builder Garage actually has is that if a block teleports, well, if you move something, Game Builder Garage will always try and play some kind of animation enabling into it. So it'll probably try to interpolate it so it's like, so you kind of see the movement and then kind of going across. So that's gonna be that's kind of something that we have to avoid, because it really ruins the facade we're trying to put up, that it's actually moving, which it kind of is, but it isn't at the same time. And again, we can't just do an infinite runner, like actually infinite, because Game Builder Garage is actually very limited on how big things can be and how big you can put things in. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a moving box be our ground, and this will be the maximum length that Game Builder Garage allows, which is 10 meters. And we are going to basically start it here, and we're going to put two of them together. And at the edge of the thing, like 10 meters down, we're going to basically have a teleporter system. So this way, we can just bring it out and it can continue on. And we're going to have to keep this constant. And another thing we might have to do is we might not be able to even make it as big as this little playtester demo is. So it's going to be like a literal demo of a demo at this point. Where it's not going to be real easy to do something like put in like a shop system like we have. We'll still have a coin system in place, but it'll be but the coins will be pointless. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a teleporter, and this teleporter will basically start the thing and end it at the same time. And let's see, teleport, and we'll put an exit here, so this way you can exit the box. And now another thing I'm going to do, good, it's already there, and we're going to put in an exit. It's exactly at the edge of the moving object, so when we view it, it's going to you're basically just going to see it just exit, and it will be like off screen. So anything like that, we'll probably adjust it a little later, so this way it actually kind of looks accurate. I'm also going to make sure that the object is painted green, so this way we could discern that it's a ground object before we put in the textures. I'm also probably going to make everything a flat plane when we put in the textures, so this way we can keep that 2D effect without doing too much, and still having the parallax effect from the sky system, because yeah. Alright, so let's get our teleport exit out, and alright, so now we can just put in a constant. Now, if I go back to the source code that I've when we were programming this, I remember that the basic speed was around 1.5. So hopefully we can do just that. Unfortunately, the Game Builder Garage version will only have like basically the first level programmed into it, because Game Builder Garage is just so limited with some things, and it's a little bit hard to kind of get that into there, so it's going to be kind of limited. And we'll just set that to, I think, X, yes. This is just weird. So there we go. So hopefully when I go ahead and test this, when the things break. Great, because Game Builder Garage likes to make things destructible and destructive. I don't know why, but it's just something Nintendo likes doing. Okay, we'll also set that to green while we're here because reasons. We need to get the grassy color out of it. Okay, visible, destructible. Actually, visible and solid should be kept as they are. Keep that as green, so this way we can tell that that is in fact land. And ooh, yeah, that's a little too much. What I might do is I'll divide this by 10, so it'll be 0.15 instead of 1.5, right? And now it's too slow. Okay, so in this case, let's see. So now we need to kind of decide upon a speed. So I'm gonna say 1. And also it's going in the wrong direction, so it should be -1. Okay, well, that's simple. Just do that. Oh, that's stupid. But alright, there we go. -1. Oh, and we're going so fast that it makes the switch, that it makes the display go dark. How wonderful. Alright, so that's a change for the worst, is it? So we're going to keep it slow. I don't really like how it's going so fast that it makes the switch just go dark for whatever reason. And does it again, because it's like, because if I remember right, we've set that wrong. We're in mode, should be speed, and there we go. This will be way better. This will be heaps better than anything else, because honestly, there we go. Now that looks pretty constant. Okay, there's our little divider for 1. Now one thing stupid that I did realize is that, well, that tile kind of hides itself away, but also it's now 5 meters behind. As you can see, there's a gap, and even though we do have a jump mechanic in the game, we don't actually have it in the game as a thing where it could do that with the terrain. Also, it's not really random, that, so yeah, so that's going to be a change. So my thought is we make it spawn in about a little closer, kind of like the 5 that we had it before. In fact, let's just move the teleporter here a little more, because again, it's a little too far. But where this could also be a problem is that it could literally cause it to kind of hide when it, yeah, there we go, it kind of hides before it gets on the screen. But at least what'll happen is that it kind of renders behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of balance it out a little. So we're going to put it back to our 10, and we're going to make this, and we're going to kind of move this in so it's a little closer into frame. And let's try this. It might be a little weird looking, and things might even collide with each other, which might render a little weirdly, but yeah, okay. I mean, it's a little better. In fact, it kind of makes it seamless, but it's a little off. In fact, it's like entirely a block off, so it's a bit of a consideration. It's a bit weird, if I have to say so myself. We could also do away with this by making it not solid, but that would just make it fall through the world, and we don't want that. So we kind of need to kind of balance these things. Another idea I have is that we'll clone these, but we'll make it where it's that little 5-meter window, or that 5 to 10-meter window where these boxes are nowhere near here. So we just fill in the entire gap, which I think is probably going to be the best solution we've got. In fact, the best idea I've ever come up with in the past 10 minutes of making this episode. Okay, so let's just see here. Now, supposedly these things are actually 15 meters across, which I kind of have a hard time agreeing with, but apparently that's how it happened. That's what it is. Alright, so let's try it with one that's just teleporting onto itself. It's not looking too great already, because there's already the gap between the first and the second one, probably from it being moved, and we really don't want that kind of gap. And there we go, our gap is back, and yeah. And this thing's just looking weird, because you got the first one teleporting its way in. And this is kind of the confusing part with Game Builder Garage, so yeah, there we go. Yep. So it's probably a weird thing there, and I'm gonna have to probably spend a little bit of time trying to figure this one out. But I think I've already found something out already about it. I was being an idiot, and I forgot to connect it to X. So now we should be having what looks like a seamless plot of land. Let's see, how does that look? Oh, okay. Trying to go for the weird points, aren't we? Okay, now that looks like it's the first piece of land because it's very long. And yeah, now that short piece just clones its way out, and yeah. And so it looks weird on the first go. And then it kind of stabilizes itself out, and then it just goes back to looking weird. Oh, and then there's the other one, and so yeah. Of course, because it's now out of line with the original, yeah, it's now just out of line with the original. Actually, it's okay. It's good enough for the teleporter, so yeah, it's a little weird. I'm not going to really end the episode over this, because we've still got a few more things to do. And, yeah. Now, while we figure that out, I'm probably going to get to work on getting the moving box that will be our player character, because we're not going to use a person node on for this. We're just going to have a box that will just have the player on it. Now, my plan is that we're going to keep it destructible and destructive, because it could destroy the coins, so we could have coins, the coin system in the game, but also destructible because what'll happen is that we can have enemies that will destroy it, because again, if you've actually played this game, you'll know that you're out by the first hit. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to set the color to blue so we could actually discern it, and we're going to set it to where it can use the A button to change its y-axis, which we'll probably set it to be like that, and we'll also have it do a positive negative inversion on X, so it can kind of counteract the negative nature of the blocks. And of course that's going to be pointless because we're still in acceleration mode, so let's set that to speed, and there we go, we're counting, and boom. Unfortunately, we have not locked ourselves to X, Y, or Z, so what I'm also going to do is behind here, I'm going to set up a bit of a wall, which we'll probably also make out of moving boxes, because we're going to have that as a little bit of a speed kind of thing. We're going to have that as our our sky texture, and we're probably going to divide that by 2 because our intent is to kind of generate a parallax effect, but we're going to have that disabled for now. We'll save programming that for kind of later in this episode, I guess. And there we go, 2, and we're going to have a third one back here. And what I might also do is I'll put in little guardrail normal boxes out in the front. So there we go. Come on, in we get. And alright, and let's see, it's a little shorter than normal. So what we're going to do here about that, we're just gonna make it a wall, so this way we have something to kind of go on towards. So this way we have the basics down, and we have something. Alright, so unfortunately my camera stopped filming for whatever reason, so kind of lost a few things here, and yeah, now we are just getting the boxes dealt with, because we kind of need a box to be our, we kind of need a moving box to basically become our wall, because again we're trying to go for 2D on this, and I'm just kind of implementing this way we can just, so this way we could just mess around with things and just overall just convert it over and stuff. And here we go. And of course, because we're a moving object, we're not limited to anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have another set of boxes to be a bit of a guardrail. Alright, now it works perfect. Okay, we can now jump, but we don't really need that. More importantly, I don't think we need to really connect it to any kind of inversion now, because if I run it, we can do a thing, but yeah, it's a bit weird. Okay, so yeah, so basically that's pretty much how we're getting that dealt with. So we're doing pretty good already. One last thing is I'm gonna get these boxes and I'm gonna configure them so they are invisible as all possible, because, and what I'm also going to do is I'm gonna place some enemies down, and there we go. And now unfortunately we're now facing the effects of removing the negative, the go back kind of thing. So we'll get to that. Alright, so let's fix that. Alright, so off camera I did a little bit of fixing, and yeah, I made the cube move in the X direction by about half, so at least it's moving a little. This way it's kind of being a little firm. I don't really like how it's not that firm with where it is, because the physics of this, of Game Builder Garage, are just straight up weird. I don't know why the hell it's just deciding that it's going to be like, just like that, because it should be mostly staying in the same position. But yeah, so that's mostly the biggest problem we have. So yeah, otherwise, before I end off today's video, I'm going to add in the enemy system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a launch. We're going to set it to launch 100 objects, and that will have us launch what's practically going to be a box. So when we launch our box, do we get anything? And of course the sky falls for whatever reason. I think because the random generator that generates the box decided to be completely random and start generating things. So I think I'm gonna leave that off for today's video. Not too far, but we got really far with getting it built. Gonna do a lot of stuff off camera to get it working a bit better. Probably gonna add in the title screen and stuff. And yeah, gonna leave it off here. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. Just a small little project. If you want to go check out the actual version of Visualized for playtest release, well, you can do that. There's a link in the description where you can literally get your hands on a copy of it, and you can even leave your own opinions about the game in a little bit of a Google document form thing we've got for that. So that's going to be it for today's video, and bye.